You're going to grab this bowl that has your mixture in it, and you're going to start to use your wrist and just swirl it around until you see how it made it all, it came through all around instead of it just being one glob, you know. So you do the same thing. I pour it, and then you see how it just kind of sits there, right? But you want to make sure that it actually moves. So you're moving your wrist so that it's going in a circle, right? You're moving your wrist until you get it as close to covering the whole pan, right? So you see how fast that works? So I hope this helps you just to see the technique and how you move your wrist and get this to go. So you're gonna keep an eye on it. So as you're looking, you know, we'll swirl it around just to make sure. And as the edges get crispy, you know that it's cooking. And then once there's no more batter swishing around on the top, you know it's safe to turn. So we're just going to wait a few more seconds until it's fully cooked on the one side. And then a lot of times I'll just take a little peek to see. So you see how it starts to get brown underneath the, whoops, and then you keep going. So that's kind of how you can tell. You can kind of just take a little peek, see how brown it's getting. And if it's not brown yet, don't flip, okay? So just think about that. What oils do you have in your kitchen that you could use to infuse the crepes, right? Whether you're infusing the filling or whether you're using it to infuse the actual crepe. Okay. If you were doing a savorier crepe, you could add thyme to the crepe itself. You could use thyme in another type of filling. So you think about it, savory or sweet, what do you want? You know, because we're having the reverse dinner right now. Okay, so you see how nice and crispy that is, right? But yet it's still pliable because then I could still turn it, right? And I can still round it up. So there's my first crepe. Put that one in the oven to keep it warm. And here is my second crepe. So the little larger crepe, right? And then I'm just going to fold it. I want to show you how when you fold it, you see how you keep folding it. So you see that? Now it's a folded crepe, okay? And so we would keep going. And I have a little bit more coconut oil in here, so I'm good. I have a little bit more butter on this one, so I just want to add to that, okay? And remember we talked about the chocolate, right? So I'm now going to do two of them chocolate. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the protein in here. And I'm going to mix it up. And then I might need to add a little bit more milk. It's a little bit too thick. Okay, so now I've got my chocolate batter, right? You see my chocolate batter. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to pour it in the pan. And I'm going to stir the pan around so that it's fully a circle. Same thing for the larger pan. And then using your wrist, you're going to just turn your wrist a little bit and keep going in a clockwise position until the entire crepe is covering your pan, okay? And you want to make it so that you're not, that's why I like to use the ladle, because you're not over pouring. A lot of times folks over pour and then there's too much batter on the actual pan to get the crepe to really cook nicely. So these are our chocolate crepes, right? So you see how cool that is. So that's how we have the chocolate version now, okay? And these are going to cook up, and then we'll start working on the filling, okay? So I'm actually going to start cooking up the filling so that you guys see how easy that is. Just going to keep cooking. Okay, so I'm going to add a little coconut oil to my pan and let that start to heat up so that I can actually work on the apples. Okay. And let's take a peek at the crepe, right? See, oops, it's looking delightful. And now I can flip it, okay? And let's look at the smaller one. And yeah, we can flip that one too. So we're gonna just let that cook a little bit more. In the meantime, we have our apples, which I'm going to pour into the pan, which have our, remember we have lemon on them, right? See how they didn't turn? I have the thieves and I have the cinnamon bark, the Young Living cinnamon bark essential oil. Okay, just gonna let it cook a little bit. Okay. And here we go. Whoops. My little renegade apple piece. I already wanted to get going. So now I'm gonna turn